Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for August 28th. So for those of you who tried to watch the original version of this video, and there was no sound, I apologize. It's taken me forever to figure out how to fix it, but and mostly I just called on someone to help me. But it's done. Hopefully this will have volume and you'll be able to hear it and it's all good. So, I'm going to repeat the video that I attempted to do. So the question was, how is September looking for Trump? So that's where we're going to focus on. So this is the thing, right? The convention is over. It was a ridiculous theatrical performance. It was rewriting history, rewriting the truth, blatantly lying. It was, and it really, I don't know, when I saw that thing yesterday with the White House and the flags and all those people without masks, as just, it's just remarkable to me. But I guess that's one of the things that you guys have found out is that the presidency has awesome power. And if somebody gets in there who can abuse it, wow, they really can mess it up good. Hang on, I gotta pick up cards. Hello. Okay, so I couldn't watch. I watched some news clips after the fact. The whole thing was just too appalling for me to be able to handle energetically. And I know from the comments a great many of you felt exactly the same way. And speaking of which, just for those of you who are interested, the Sunday Positive Energy Circle is going to be about calming and healing. I want to really focus in on calming the energies and trying to heal some of the just real tension and uncertainty and fear, that kind of thing. So you can look for that on Sunday if you're interested. All right, so here we go. Let's find out what this September looks like for Trump. And the bad news just never stops happening, right? I mean, every time he turns around, there's something else that is not, going in his favor, whether it is a court decision, whether it is the whole investigations now into, the Trump company. And, the tax returns have to get handled. I mean, it just doesn't stop, right? So let's see how he's holding up with all of this. Come on down, because I have a question. 10. Pull this back a little bit, create some room. All right, so here we go. Trump this September. Trump this September. Trump this September. Do tell. Okay, let's start here. So you can anticipate that the childish, juvenile temper tantrums, that kind of energy is going to continue to be on full display. He is going to be getting, there's going to be legal stuff that is going on, and there's going to be communication stuff that's going on. So it really, really feels as if in some ways, people, so the broader, Americans, are really, really going to start to put his feet to the fire at this point. And not that they haven't been before now, but as this behavior becomes more kind of childlike and, so you've got information coming out legally or judgments going against him. It could be votes going against him. But whatever it is, that's happening. And then you've got all of this new interesting communication going on. So part of what this is telling me is that they themselves, the Trump re-election campaign, and to some degree the administration, are really going to try to continue the whole gaslighting 101 story, right? Let me tell you what the reality was, even though it is completely opposite to the reality you live, experience, understand, and know. There's that. But more. You have Michael Cohen's book coming out this month. You have that Bob Woodward guy who wrote, I think about a year ago or like a year and a half ago, he came out with the book called Fear. And now in September, he is coming out with one called Rage. And apparently, he's got a fair bit of really interesting information, including she was able to access some of the love letters between Trump and Kim Jong-un. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out that really is not going to reflect well on him. And I've got like this Queen of Cups here, and there is this energy that is starting to move into place around Trump that is sort of like there's going to be another more information, some new information, someone new, but he again is going to have some trouble with females, the way he's treated them, but activities from the past. I'm not sure, like I can't get real clear on it, but I do know that that feminine energy that he has stomped on for so long is going to, in its own way, continue to rear its head and cause him trouble, right? It's really unfortunate that he's not smart. Oh, okay. And look, and here's my vice president card. So this is now Kamala's card. So she is also part of what's going on here. So I think he's going to continue his crazy attacks with her. And it's going to only antagonize more people. Okay. This is the thing, right? The people who are for Trump are for Trump. It doesn't matter what he says or does. And it doesn't matter, frankly, what anybody else says or does. It's that small percentage of people who have somehow managed to stay sort of neutral and are now looking to see what's going on. The more he attacks her, the worse it makes it for him. And so there's going to be some interactions, there's going to be some stuff going on that way, but I also see this other feminine energy that is going to cause him some trouble. So the thing with Trump is, in fact, the Trump family, and in fact, a lot of the people who are still, supporting him and telling him he's wonderful, particularly those like immediately around him, almost everything they do is about their happiness and their financial security. Those are the two elements that drive Trump, the family, and those around him. And that is going to, again, it feels very much like it is going to become really apparent. Some stuff's going to be going on this month that really draws attention to the fact that the selfishness has actually kicked up another ratch, because the thing is the closer it gets and the more desperate they get, the more frankly blatant they're going to be about their criminality, whatever way that takes shape. So he is going to be doing, what he can to distract, to spin, to just gaslight, to just flat lie. And the more that goes on, the more he is really going to see, particularly throughout September, that it's really not helping him. He may get a tiny little bump from this 4-day convention that, thank you God, has completed. But if it is, it's going to be small, and it's not going to be sustainable, because they continue to push an agenda. Like, literally what they say is not what, like, 95% of the people of the country actually are experiencing. They are not experiencing a brilliant economy and an amazing COVID response and a whatever, can't remember the third thing I was going to say, but, like, they're not experiencing all of the wonderful things that he's talking about, and nor, frankly, are they experiencing all of the disastrous things he's talking about. You know, he's ramping up people's fear. That's what he does. Frankly, that's all he knows how to do. But this behavior it feels like it's just going to continue on. Yeah, this is, okay, yeah, okay. He continues to see being a strong man, the law and order president, the, I'm tough and nobody's tougher than me and nobody's smarter than me. He really, really believes that that is going to be, sorry about that. So he really believes that law and order kind of push is going to be successful for him. And he's going to keep riding that. Also, let's not forget that he really is a one-trick pony, right? So this is really 2016 on steroids, right? That's what Trump's campaign is. If it was outrageous and crazy 4 years ago, well, it's even crazier and more outrageous now. But he's gotten very good at convincing his base that what he tells them is real versus, what they actually experience in their reality. So he's not going to detach at this point. Now, is he actually interested in winning? Well, from an ego perspective, he is. From a perspective of, what else can I take? What else can I get? And he's interested in staying the president because he foolishly still thinks it's going to be good for his brand. And he's not completely wrong, in as much as if he really does get another 4 years, the country will be destroyed. And he really will have been able to pad his pockets until they're bulging with, U.S. money that really doesn't belong to him. He's also really scared of the courts coming after him, and for some reason that also is going to feel a little bit like it's getting ratcheted up in September. So there's that going on. And more, there are going to be it feels like more instances where he's going to be ignored or dismissed or made fun of by people just outside of his immediate circle. It feels like it's going to be one of those things where the harder he tries to get himself on stable ground, the more he's going to get pushback from donors, from supporters. And again, I'm not talking about the ones who are going to believe whatever he says. I'm talking about some independents who maybe have not made a decision. I'm talking about donors who are saying, listen, you know what, this guy is like a loose wire. We cannot keep him around, so we're going to support down ballot, but not. So I expect some more stories about friction coming out about Trump and his donors. Yeah, it really feels like it's going to be a little bit of a tough month for the guy, because the sort of the bump that he was expecting, the stability, the hope to change the subject, pivot, is not going to work for him, because too many people have seen too much. He is the one who is ultimately going to be suffering more disappointments in the month of September, and of course going forward October and November. More people. He's going to lose some more people. He's going to lose some of his support. And in some ways, the more that happens, the more erratic he becomes, the more he's determined to just, go to war and double down and fight this. It's not going to work for him, because the more he engages in that behavior, the more there really is the reality that this guy is completely unhinged. And so while the behavior can be concerning for a lot of people, frightening, the reality is that there really are still some pretty strong guardrails around him that will hold things in place if they really look like they're going to start imploding. But more, it's just a bad look for him. It's not gonna serve him. And the more he tries to hang on to what he has, the more he makes decisions that are so blatantly for self, the worse his luck is going to get. It's just, things are just going to continue to snowball and escalate to a place where he's really not going to see a whole lot that's going to make him happy. He's really not. He sees that the messages aren't working. He sees that the other side, the Democrats, are gaining strength, and he is going to be focused on what he's scared of losing. And so that, of course, again, triggers the behavior. It's not, I've said before, I don't see Trump leaving before the election. I really don't. I don't see him winning the election. And for those who ask, it very clearly looks to me like the Democrats are going to take the Senate and, of course, the House. And so, but I have this really strong feeling that he's simply not going to be around for the inauguration. And I know, people who know him far better than me have said he's not going to give up the office easily. There's going to be a problem trying to get him out of office. I just am not picking that up, or I'm certainly not picking it up at this time. I see him not physically being in Washington when Joe Biden is inaugurated. So in some ways, part of what's going on is he's also working very hard to feather his nest, right? He is doing everything he can to ensure that he has the most, that he has taken the most out. Okay. So aside from the King of Pentacles, the Fool is my other trump card. So the message is literally, the more foolish he behaves, the more erratic he becomes, the more information comes out about partnerships, about backroom deals, about relationships with women, or interactions connected to just areas that are not, I want to almost say legal. Okay, the more stuff comes out, the more he seals his own fate. And his fate is that his life, as he knows it now, is ending, because there is a new cycle awaiting him. I wonder how much of that new cycle has to do with his fortunes reversing on him. Yeah, he's just gonna keep trying to get back to, he's gonna be rewriting history. He's going to be rewriting his first election. He's going to be doing what he does because he really doesn't feel constrained in any way by truth, by legalities, by common decency. The man cannot be shamed. So anything that is strong that opposes him, he simply looks away from. And he turns his attention back to how much money can I squirrel away? How much stuff do I get? How much, more money can get funneled into, the Trump corporation, so that, I've made maximum use of my time in the White House. Yep. It's all about the money. It's all about his fear of being pushed to the side, his fears about being found out to frankly being a fraud. It's all about that. And I'm here to tell you that he does not have the money he wants people to think he has. That's a big part of the reason that he is fighting the tax thing, or fought the tax thing as hard as he did. Part of it was just ego, right? He did not want people to actually realize that he does not have what he brags about having. That's one thing. And the other thing is that he really didn't he doesn't want those sort of details gone through with any sort of fine-tooth comb, because there's going to be stuff that comes out of there that is really not going to serve him. And the thing is, okay, we're not going to know about that stuff before the election, most likely. But man, oh man, once that election is over, I think it could get, a little dicey for him. So look, interesting. So you've got all of these pentacle cards in a row, and that really is the space from which Donald Trump functions. What's in it for me? How much can I get out of it? That's his focus right now. And if he's disappointed that he's losing the presidency, it really is in part, it's two things, right? He doesn't want to, lose to Biden, right? He doesn't want to be a one-term president. He doesn't want to feel like he's a failure. But that's what's coming down the pike for him. It's, yeah. Stuff is going to come out. There may be behind the scenes another offer or two made to kind of see if they can push Trump out of office. But at this point, he's not even going to entertain the notion. He's not going to listen to it. In fact, he's going to get really angry if things start coming out and people start talking to him about that. Because as far as he's concerned, he was nominated. He accepted the nomination. It's, God knows, probably he thinks it's his God-given birthright. I'm not sure. But anybody who tries to suggest to him quietly behind the scenes that maybe he would like to leave is going to sort of be met with a blast of crazy, screaming, kicking, irrational spew. Yeah. Tower. So yeah, you've got unstable ground, and honestly, as September unfolds, you're going to see more and more Republicans really starting to it's not that they, at this point, they do recognize how crazy the ground is underneath them, but they're going to start trying to figure out how to distance themselves, kind of get away, pull back. And I don't think, frankly, it's going to work for as many of them as they think or they hope it will. So there's kind of that sort of energy going on. It really doesn't look like they're going to be able to pull this out. You just have, and the tower, of course, right? So that which was created on unstable ground, like the entire Trump presidency, must come down. It must fall. And it doesn't matter what kind of dirty tricks, it does not matter what kind of dirty tricks foreign actors are trying to play. With enough people voting, they will not be able to impact it in any significant way. So they're not going to get away with what they're trying to do as far as, his Russian buddies. And this presidency is absolutely just determined to come crashing down on him. He's not going to have the victory. God, he wants it. And, he's that person who, if I just believe it, it will happen. And that's terrific, except when you're delusional, because when you're delusional, then what you believe is a little bit kind of twisted up, I think. Okay. The country is desperate for stability, for calmness, for healing. So feels like September. You can look forward to some more angry, outbursts, because he's not going to like the fact that the convention didn't give him kind of the real tangible boost he wanted. He got to, talk in front of crowds. He was on primetime television, 4 days in a row spewing nonsense. But he doesn't have another game to play. So the nonsense is going to continue all through September. The volatility, of course, is going to increase. Him just sort of saying things on these little press release, that when he stands there in front of the helicopter kind of thing. He's not going to be talking rationally, like he's not going to make sense, is what I'm saying. And it's going to become more and more obvious to like everybody. And meanwhile, it feels very much like the Biden campaign is really, really going to stick in his craw. So, again, there's more and more people coming after him. In the last week, there were two people from Homeland Security who both have been blatant about the fact that they're voting for Biden. This guy is unstable and unfit. Get a few more of those, get kind of one every week. It's going to add up. So you can anticipate just that real, um, you know, volatile energy. He's going to be kicking things, throwing things, yelling, demanding things from donors, demanding things from people around him, most of which he can't have. It's not, but he's going to demand because that's what he does. There's just a lot of that really, sort of staticky energy, and definitely it very much feels like the Trump family, the organization, the corporations, they're going to take a rather significant blow in September too. So perhaps they're going to try to avoid things, and they're not going to be able to. I mean, right now Eric Trump is refusing to talk to whoever it is that is investigating him, whatever area, Southern District, North, I don't know, whatever it is. And because, what are they saying? He has the right to, his constitutional rights will be violated if he is forced to testify. Well, that's not going to work, because the deal is that you have the right to plead the fifth in a court proceeding, so that you don't incriminate yourself. But of course, pleading the fifth always makes you look like absolutely guilty. And so they want to be able to have the protection without looking like they are the criminals that they are. And that's not going to work. And so there's going to be more and more stuff that is just not going to go in their favor. And the more desperate, well, the more crazy, right? So anticipate the next 4 weeks of gaslighting, outrageous statements, crazy wild threats. But understand, at the bottom of it all, this is a child, a very young child, a really young child, having a temper tantrum. And eventually, it's not going to work for him. It's really not. All right, listen, you guys, have a fabulous weekend. Decompress a little bit, do some fun stuff, take good care of yourself. And if you're interested, I'll see you on Sunday. Thank you very much, by the way, for all of you amazing people who come over to and participate in the Soulprint Positive Energy Circle. It's fabulous. So that's awesome. And I will see you on Monday with my Trump This Week report. So have a great weekend. Take care. Be well. And we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.